According to the 2020 National Electrical Code, or NEC, a quick disconnect is required between the meter socket and the main panel lugs for all new or upgraded residential services rated at 200 amps or higher. The quick disconnect must be rated for the amperage of the service and must be listed for the purpose. The following types of quick disconnects are typically used: firstly, pullout devices; secondly, service entrance rated attachment plug connectors; and thirdly, circuit breakers with interlock kits. A pullout device is a single pole or multi-pole device that can be easily pulled out of the meter socket to isolate the service. Service entrance rated attachment plug connectors are plug-in connectors that are rated for service entrance use. Circuit breakers with interlock kits are circuit breakers with an interlock kit that prevents it from being opened while the service is connected. It is important to note that the exact requirements for the quick disconnect may vary based on local regulations or utility requirements. It is always advisable to consult with the local authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, for specific details. Let's delve deeper into each type of quick disconnect, starting with pullout devices. These devices are designed for straightforward operation, allowing for a quick and easy way to de-energize the service. The simplicity of their design makes them a popular choice in residential applications. They are typically installed directly adjacent to the meter socket, providing immediate access for disconnection. When selecting a pullout device, it is crucial to ensure that it is rated for the full amperage of the service. For a 200 amp service, the pullout device must be rated for at least 200 amps. Additionally, the device must be listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, to ensure its safety and reliability. The listing mark indicates that the device has been tested and meets the applicable safety standards. Now let's examine service entrance rated attachment plug connectors. These connectors offer a convenient and flexible solution for disconnecting the service. They are similar to standard electrical plugs, but they are specifically designed and rated for service entrance applications. This means they are built to withstand the harsh environmental conditions and high electrical loads associated with service entrances. Service entrance rated attachment plug connectors are typically used in situations where the service needs to be frequently disconnected, such as during maintenance or repairs. They provide a quick and easy way to energize the service without the need for specialized tools or equipment. When using these connectors, it is essential to ensure that both the plug and receptacle are rated for the full amperage of the service and are listed for service entrance use. Finally, let's discuss circuit breakers with interlock kits. These devices offer a more sophisticated approach to service disconnection. They combine the functionality of a circuit breaker with an interlock mechanism that prevents the breaker from being opened while the service is connected. This interlock mechanism ensures that the service is safely de-energized before any work is performed on the electrical system. Circuit breakers with interlock kits are typically used in applications where safety is of paramount importance. They provide an additional layer of protection against accidental energization of the electrical system. When selecting a circuit breaker with an interlock kit, it is crucial to ensure that the breaker is rated for the full amperage of the service and that the interlock kit is compatible with the breaker. The interlock kit must also be listed by a recognized testing laboratory to ensure its safety and reliability. In addition to the type of quick disconnect, it is also important to consider the location of the disconnect. The NEC requires that the quick disconnect be readily accessible to the homeowner or emergency personnel. This means that the disconnect must be located in a place where it can be easily reached without the need for tools or equipment. The disconnect should also be clearly labeled to indicate its purpose. This will help to prevent confusion and ensure that the correct disconnect is used in an emergency. Another important consideration is the wiring method used to connect the quick disconnect to the meter socket and the main panel lugs. The wiring method must comply with the requirements of the NEC and must be appropriate for the application. Typically, service entrance cable, or SE cable, or conduit is used for this purpose. SE cable is a type of electrical cable that is specifically designed for service entrance applications. It is available in a variety of sizes and configurations to meet the needs of different services. Conduit is a rigid or flexible tube that is used to protect electrical wiring. It is available in a variety of materials, including metal and plastic. When selecting a wiring method, it is important to consider the environmental conditions in which the wiring will be installed. For example, if the wiring will be exposed to moisture or corrosive substances, it is important to use a wiring method that is resistant to these conditions. In addition to the NEC requirements, it is also important to consider any local regulations or utility requirements that may apply. Some local jurisdictions may have additional requirements for quick disconnects, such as requiring a specific type of disconnect or requiring the disconnect to be installed in a specific location. Utility companies may also have their own requirements for quick disconnects, such as requiring the disconnect to be accessible to utility personnel. It is always advisable to consult with a local authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, and the utility company to ensure that the quick disconnect installation complies with all applicable requirements. Furthermore, the selection and installation of a quick disconnect should not be taken lightly. It is a critical safety component of the electrical system, and improper selection or installation can have serious consequences. It is always recommended to hire a qualified electrician to perform this work. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to select and install the appropriate quick disconnect for the application. They will also ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, the 2020 NEC requires a quick disconnect between the meter socket and the main panel lugs for all new or upgraded residential services rated at 200 amps or higher. The quick disconnect must be rated for the amperage of the service and must be listed for the purpose. The types of quick disconnects typically used include pull-out devices, service entrance rated attachment plug connectors, and circuit breakers with interlock kits. The exact requirements for the quick disconnect may vary based on local regulations or utility requirements, so it is always advisable to consult with the local authority having jurisdiction and the utility company. It is also important to hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. They can also help in situations for proper grounding and bonding. Grounding and bonding are two essential safety measures in electrical systems that work together to protect people and equipment from electrical shock and damage. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse into energizing the circuit. This prevents dangerous voltage from building up on metal parts of equipment, which could cause an electric shock if someone touches them. Bonding connects all metal parts of an electrical system together, creating a low impedance path for fault current. This ensures that all metal parts are at the same potential, reducing the risk of electric shock. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding in electrical systems. These requirements are designed to ensure that electrical systems are safe and reliable. The size of the grounding and bonding conductors is determined by the size of the service entrance conductors. The NEC provides tables that specify the minimum size of the grounding and bonding conductors for different service entrance conductor sizes. For example, for a 200 amp service, the grounding electrode conductor must be at least a number 6 copper wire or a number 4 aluminum wire. The main bonding jumper must be the same size as the grounding electrode conductor. Grounding electrodes are used to connect the grounding system to the earth. The NEC recognizes several types of grounding electrodes, including metal underground water pipes, metal frames of buildings, and ground rods. Ground rods must be at least 8 feet long and must be driven into the ground at least 8 feet apart. Bonding jumpers are used to connect different metal parts of the electrical system together. Bonding jumpers must be sized according to the NEC requirements. Bonding jumpers must be installed in a way that provides a low impedance path for fault current. Grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. By providing a path for fault current and ensuring that all metal parts are at the same potential, grounding and bonding help to prevent electric shock and damage to equipment. Always consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that your electrical system is properly grounded and bonded. They will also be able to explain surge protection. Surge protection is another important aspect of electrical safety that helps to protect electrical equipment from damage caused by voltage surges. Voltage surges are sudden, temporary increases in voltage that can damage or destroy sensitive electronic equipment. Surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or even the switching of electrical loads. Surge protective devices, or SPDs, are designed to divert surge current away from sensitive equipment, protecting it from damage. SPD are available in a variety of types and sizes, and they can be installed at different points in the electrical system. Whole house SPD are installed at the service entrance and provide protection for all of the equipment in the house. Point of use SPD are installed at individual outlets and provide protection for specific pieces of equipment. When selecting an SPD, it is important to consider the surge current rating. The surge current rating is the maximum amount of surge current that the SPD can safely divert. The higher the surge current rating, the better the protection. It is also important to consider the voltage protection rating, or VPR. The voltage protection rating is the maximum voltage that the SPD will allow to pass through to the protected equipment. The lower the voltage protection rating, the better the protection. SPD should be installed by a qualified electrician. The electrician will ensure that the SPD is properly installed and grounded. SPD are an important investment in electrical safety. By protecting sensitive equipment from damage caused by voltage surges, SPD can save homeowners money and prevent the inconvenience of having to replace damaged equipment. Another topic to consider is arc fault circuit interrupters, or RFCIs. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or RFCIs, are circuit breakers that are designed to protect against fires caused by arc faults. Arc faults are dangerous electrical conditions that can occur when damaged or deteriorated wiring creates an unintended electrical path. Arc faults can generate intense heat, which can ignite nearby combustible materials and cause a fire. RFCIs are designed to detect arc faults and quickly shut off the power to the circuit, preventing a fire from starting. RFCIs are required in many areas of the home, including bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms. The NEC specifies the locations where RFCIs are required. There are two types of RFCIs: firstly, branch/feeder RFCIs, and secondly, combination RFCIs. Branch/feeder RFCIs protect against arc faults in the branch circuit wiring. Combination RFCIs protect against arc faults in both the branch circuit wiring and the power cords of appliances and equipment. RFCIs should be tested monthly to ensure that they are working properly. To test an RFCI, press the test button on the RFCI. The RFCI should trip, shutting off the power to the circuit. If the RFCI does not trip, it should be replaced. RFCIs are an important safety device that can help to prevent fires caused by arc faults. By detecting arc faults and quickly shutting off the power to the circuit, RFCIs can save lives and property. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are another important safety device that helps to protect people from electric shock. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are designed to protect against electric shock caused by ground faults. Ground faults occur when electricity takes an unintended path to ground. This can happen when someone touches a live wire or when water comes into contact with electrical wiring. GFCIs are designed to detect ground faults and quickly shut off the power to the circuit, preventing an electric shock. GFCIs are required in many areas of the home, including bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. The NEC specifies the locations where GFCIs are required. GFCIs should be tested monthly to ensure that they are working properly. To test a GFCI, press the test button on the GFCI. The GFCI should trip, shutting off the power to the circuit. If the GFCI does not trip, it should be replaced. GFCIs are an important safety device that can help to prevent electric shock. By detecting ground faults and quickly shutting off the power to the circuit, GFCIs can save lives. When working with electricity, it is important to always take precautions to protect yourself from electric shock. Always turn off the power to the circuit before working on electrical wiring. Use insulated tools and wear rubber gloves. Never work on electrical wiring in wet conditions. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician. Working safely with electricity is essential to prevent electric shock and injury. By following these safety tips, you can protect yourself and others from the dangers of electricity. Consider 2. Electrical panel labeling. Electrical panel labeling is an important safety measure that helps to identify the circuits in an electrical panel. Accurate and up-to-date labeling can save time and prevent accidents when working on electrical wiring. The NEC requires that all circuits in an electrical panel be clearly labeled to indicate their purpose. The labels should be durable and easy to read. The labels should also be updated whenever circuits are added or changed. There are several ways to label circuits in an electrical panel. One way is to use a circuit directory, which is a list of all the circuits in the panel. The circuit directory should be kept inside the panel door. Another way to label circuits is to use individual labels for each circuit breaker. The labels should be attached to the circuit breakers themselves. When labeling circuits, it is important to be clear and concise. Use descriptive labels that accurately identify the purpose of the circuit. For example, instead of labeling a circuit lights, label it living room lights. Accurate electrical panel labeling is an important safety measure that can help to prevent accidents. By taking the time to label your electrical panel properly, you can make it safer and easier to work on. Finally, remember that electrical work can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to perform electrical work safely and correctly. They will also ensure that your electrical system complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Investing in professional electrical services is an investment in your safety and the safety of your home.